Welcome to Public Speaking with Peter George. Do you want to be calm, confident, and credible every time you speak in public? Then stay tuned as Peter and his guests discuss public speaking tips, techniques, and tactics that help you increase your impact, influence, and income. Here's your host, Peter George.
As a speaker, you're also a business owner, salesperson, and marketer. And as a marketer, you must present yourself in a way that inspires, impresses, and establishes confidence in others for your abilities, products, and services. Today, social media is one of the places that many people turn to achieve this. And of the various social media platforms, LinkedIn has proven to be a solid choice for many speakers. In today's episode, Donna Serdula lets you know how you can most effectively represent yourself and connect with others. In 2009, Donna pioneered her LinkedIn profile optimization methodology. Since then, she and her team have helped over 6,000 professionals from all over the world tell their stories and build powerful professional brands. They accomplish this by crafting engaging, targeted, and highly compelling content that gets you noticed and found for the right opportunities. So listen in, take her suggestions and ideas, and see if they can help you market yourself on the platform more effectively and grow your business. Here's my chat with Donna Serdula. Hi, Donna. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Peter. Thank you so much for having me.
Donna, I know you've said that networking on LinkedIn is more important than ever before. Why is that?
Well, so many people are on LinkedIn, but it's not just that they're on LinkedIn because, people have been on LinkedIn for like a decade now, over a decade. But I believe that, with the work from home, with remote work, people miss the water cooler and, they're going on to network, to figure out who they're going to be talking to put names to faces. And it's just become such a more important tool than ever before.
That water cooler talk that you mentioned, I missed that. And I've been working from home for, I don't know how long. That is something people miss. So are they turning to LinkedIn?
I believe they are. And they're going to the LinkedIn feed and they're scrolling through to see who in their network has posted interesting tidbits, articles, information, whatever it might be. And they're engaging, they're commenting, they're liking, they're having conversations, they're engaging. And I think that's what's, really missing. I mean, work is still getting done clearly, but there's that level of interaction that people miss, and they're finding it on LinkedIn.
Being on LinkedIn is one thing, and commenting and sharing is always great. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn now. It's grown to be a very valuable resource. How can they stand out from everybody else?
There's a number of different ways that you can stand out on LinkedIn. The first thing, and I have a 4-point methodology, and I call it SOAR, SOAR to Success on LinkedIn. And SOAR stands for strategize, optimize, amplify, and relate. And if you can do those 3 things, you will absolutely stand out and dominate on LinkedIn. So that very first one is strategize. If you want to stand out, you need to know why you're on, right? You need to really think about your message. You need to think about your audience, who they are, what they need to know about you. And you need to think about those keywords, that a person might be using if they're looking for someone like you. All right. So that's a very important piece that I think a lot of people just skip over and they get on LinkedIn, and they don't even know what they want. So they don't even know how to get it. Right? You don't know where you're going. You're never going to get there.
Don't you think it's that way with a lot of things where people say, hey, you've got to do this for your business. And people say, okay, but they don't know why or what they're going to do once they get there.
It's so true, Peter. It's I think being strategic is an important part of success, knowing where you're going, knowing who your target audience is, all of that good stuff. But once you have an idea of what that message is going to be, Then you want to optimize. So that's the O, optimize. And you want to optimize your profile. Now, that profile is really a foundational aspect to LinkedIn. When you think of LinkedIn, a lot of times people think of it as like a social network or a professional network, but it's also a database, right? It's a database of professionals for professionals, and people are searching. And oftentimes, event planners, event organizers are going onto LinkedIn and saying, hey, I need a motivational speaker in this area who has this type of knowledge. And they don't know you exist, but they know that someone out there probably has these skill sets, these strengths, and they're typing that into the LinkedIn search. And if you want to collide with that type of opportunity, you need to make sure that the search result, what is the search result? The search result is almost always your LinkedIn profile. And that LinkedIn profile needs to tell that story. It needs to have those keywords. And it really needs to truly give that person that sense. All right, this is someone who's impressive. This is someone who is authentic. This is someone who is the answer to my needs.
Okay, so that's the first two. And so what are the next two?
Once your profile is optimized, and we can certainly get into, certain areas that you want to optimize, but just to give the bigger picture here, once your profile is optimized and it's written for the future, right? Not just for the past, not just who you were, but who you are today and who you want to be into the future, then you really need to start connecting, right? Amplify, that's the A. And in order to amplify, you need to have a network. You need to have followers. You need to have connections. If you click on LinkedIn, you click on my network, and you look at the size of your network, and if your network is like less than 500, that right there is a pretty good reason why you're not getting any traction. Because you're there alone, right? No one else is there. You're just sort of shouting in a closet. So you need to be connecting. You need to connect. You need to keep connecting. You're always going to connect. Everyone that you've met, everyone that you know, the people that you meet along the way, all of these people should be part of your network.
And the last one?
The last one is relate. You now have that. You know why you're on, you know who your target audience is, your profile is written towards it. You've got this strong network. Now you've got to start to engage. You need to relate to them, and you need to start to scroll through that LinkedIn feed. And don't just like scroll and read, but, scroll and react and engage. I think that's one of the big issues people have, with LinkedIn. It's like, oh, you mean you want me to forge a relationship? You want me to open up and actually respond to this? Yes, you need to respond. And the best thing to do is not just but click comment and say something. Really try to engage that person in conversation. When you do that, Peter, that conveys to LinkedIn that post is relevant and it's quality. And so you are actually helping that person. So if someone is posting, help them out and engage with it. Hopefully they'll engage back, go back and forth, and boom, you've got some networking done. And you could have honestly have done it in your pajamas, because with LinkedIn, you can do it anywhere, right? You can use your phone and do it anywhere.
And sharing is extremely powerful, isn't it?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So this is interesting. Sharing is a wonderful thing. And when people share my posts, I love it. I love it. It makes me happy. I mean, it really does. I mean, effervescent inside. However, you may have noticed this yourself if you post on a regular basis. But if you share someone's post, a share doesn't do very well. It just doesn't get the same amount of traction as if you were the sole creator of the post. So for the average everyday user, go right ahead and share. Enjoy, share it, and consider that, okay, I marked something off. I checked it off. But if you are looking for a lot of engagement and a lot of views, you can take that information and create a new post and incorporate that content in with like a hat tip, and then you can tag the person.
Learn something new every day. I was under the false impression it was the other way around.
Well, you know what? For a long time, that's one of the things we always talked about. Share these posts, curate that content. It's a good thing. And please, it's still a good thing. Just understand that if all you do is share, you're going to see that you're just not always getting that enough traction. You might not always be getting enough views. So you can certainly share every now and then, but just don't make that the sole.
Let's go back to optimizing. There are various places you can optimize, right? You can optimize directly under your photo, your about you, So can you speak to each of those or some of those?
So we can start at the very top of your LinkedIn profile. And the top has a lot of the more visual aspects, right? There's the background image. So if you're looking at your profile and it has like a kind of a grayish, greenish, stripy quality, that means you did not upload a background graphic. And so that's one of the first places to start. Find an image that represents you, that illustrates your brand. For speakers, check out my profile. Just as under Donna Serdula, there's me on the stage, with a spotlight on me. What I'm really trying to do is when a person sees it, they immediately recognize, she's a speaker. And that's what you want to convey. If you do speaking on the side, maybe you want to do a montage, of a couple different types of images. Maybe it's a picture of your book. Maybe it's you on stage. Maybe it's you doing something else. But definitely really spend time and find an image that truly represents who you are and what you do. The next thing is your profile picture. It should be a headshot, clearly. If you're a speaker, you should have one, right? But definitely make it just of your face. That's a big issue that we still see because most people use LinkedIn on their phone, on the LinkedIn app, and those images really shrink down. So you want it to be of your full face. Then right underneath the profile picture is your name, and then underneath your name is the headline. And that area is so important because it is a very sensitive piece of the search algorithm. And so if you want to get found for certain keywords, if you can inject those keywords into your headline, the better you're going to do.
That's good to know. Does the about me or about you need to be optimized as well?
You know what? Honestly, Peter, every field should be optimized because every field is representing you, right? And a person who is looking at your profile, they're qualified, right? They're basically qualifying themselves because they're there and they're scrolling through. And so as a speaker, you want to make sure that your message is getting out there, that you're being very clear as to who you are, what you do. And when you're clear and you're talking about those benefits and you're talking about what it is that you speak of and what the audience is going to get out of it, the more likely you are to get booked.
Switching topics a little bit here, Donna, personal branding is talked about a lot these days. Is one of LinkedIn's profiles really important when it comes to personal branding?
Well, I believe that when we talk about personal branding, there's certainly different elements to it, right? And especially on the online realm, if a person is Googling your name, what's going to pop up in the search? And if a person starts to look in and dive in, like who is Peter George? They're looking, they're basically saying, Peter, tell me what to think about you. Like, tell me what I should know about you. And more often than not, people, especially in a corporate professional setting, they see there's that LinkedIn profile. They're clicking on it because that LinkedIn profile is more robust than any of the other sites. I mean, you look at Facebook, you look at Instagram, you look at Twitter, you look at TikTok. No other network has such a robust profile that showcases your entire career trajectory. Your organizations, your network. links back to your website. I mean, there's so many areas and aspects to the profile that you can use to really craft that persona.
I've seen some that really seem little more than a resume.
Unfortunately, and this is something that I learned, a long time ago, because I started my business in 2009. And back then, I mean, LinkedIn was really so much different than it is today. But the profile was still a big part of the network, of the platform. And I realized, it's hard for people to write about themselves. It's really hard. And when confronted with that profile and knowing that you need to write about yourself, most people are going to go like, "Ugh, I don't want to do that. Let me make this as easy for myself as possible. Let me get out this dry, dull, out of date resume. And let me just copy and paste the fields, right into my profile." And for most people, you're not on LinkedIn for job search. Some people are, but if you're a speaker, you're on it because you're looking for gigs, right? You're looking for presentations. You're looking for that type of work. You're not looking for a job necessarily. And so, a resume should align you to a position, but with this is a totally different animal. So, I started my business because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help them optimize their profile, tell their story so they could collide with all different types of opportunity, not just job search.
Let's go back a couple of steps to connecting, where you talked about amplifying.
Mm-hmm.
I receive a lot of requests where people use little more than that stock message that says, "I'd like you to be part of my network," whatever it says. And quite frankly, I'm not really all that inclined to accept those. How should people request to connect with others?
If you are connecting to a person that you know and they know you, and when they see that picture, they smile like, "Oh, it's Peter." You don't have to put a personalized note unless you really want to. So I just want to level set that, it's not one of these things where you always have to do it. If a person recognizes you, go ahead, just, send off the connection request and they know you.
But what about the ones out of the blue?
And then I'm going to have to say this: if you don't know them, why are you connecting?
Right.
All right. Because you could follow them, right? Because follow wasn't always a part of the platform. For a long time, you had to connect. And that's why people were just connecting willy-nilly, because they wanted to have the big networks. But, you can follow. So if there's someone who is producing really good content, you really would love to connect with them eventually, but you don't know them, follow them. And then you can pay attention to their activity, their posts. You can start to engage, because now they have this new little feature. There's a little bell. So once you follow a person, there's a bell in the upper right-hand corner of the profile. You click the bell, you'll get notified anytime they post. So now you're going to get notified when they post. You can pop in there, comment, and you can start to, ingratiate yourself. You can make friends. And then once they know who you are, then you can connect. Hey, I'm that gal who's been commenting on your posts that are just so fascinating and interesting. And I really want to welcome you into my network now. And that person will absolutely accept you.
That's great advice. Is there any other type of etiquette our listeners should be aware of? It seems like every platform has etiquette. Is there etiquette for LinkedIn?
Etiquette with LinkedIn, and this is so contrary to, so this is funny, Peter. This is what I hear day in and day out. People call me like, Donna, whenever I get on LinkedIn, people are trying to sell me, always sell me like they don't even know me and they're trying to sell me something. And I'm like, yeah, that's just it's dastardly, isn't it? It's a terrible thing. And then they say, well, how do I sell to my network? It's like, you can't have it both ways, so don't go on LinkedIn because you want leads or you want to make a sale. Just don't go on LinkedIn for that reason at all. Instead, go on LinkedIn without the need to take something, but give something. So get on LinkedIn because you want to educate, you want to add value, you want to inspire, you want to motivate, You want to connect people. You want to give, right? And go on with that mindset. And even go on with the mindset that you're on there to learn and you're on there to, level up, develop. And when you go in to LinkedIn with that type of a mindset and you're active, you're engaging, you're authentic, you're having fun, you're pursuing your passion, the strangest thing happens. People resonate to that. They resonate to the passion. They resonate to that giving mindset. And suddenly everyone wants to do business with you.
So go on to make yourself the obvious choice when someone needs your service or your product. But like you said, don't go there to say, hey, I'm going to connect with, well, in my case, as a speaking coach, I'm going to connect with speakers. And as soon as they connect, I'm going to sell them my services. That just doesn't work.
Right. It doesn't work. Instead, engage on their posts, send them a message, give good things, give that good stuff, and good stuff comes back.
Donna, you've given our listeners a lot of advice here, and especially in helping them revise either their thinking and their strategy, as well as their profiles. Where can they go to learn more about you? And I know you have books on this subject. Where can they find out more about those?
Go on to LinkedIn and click on Donna Serdula.
That makes sense.
I have a website. It's linkedin-makeover.com. And I have tons of free resources there. In fact, I have a LinkedIn headline generator. It's an online app. It's totally free. You can use it to generate a really attractive, optimized, engaging headline for your LinkedIn profile. And I've got tons of other things in there too. But also I have my donnaserdula.com website as well. And that is my speaker website. So I put it out there because sometimes it's nice to see how other speakers are presenting themselves.
All right. Well, I'll have that in the notes, and I'm sure the listeners will go there and check it out. And thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
Peter, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's a wrap of another episode of Public Speaking with Peter George. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Tune in Monday when you'll hear another episode of Public Speaking with Peter George, and again Thursday for your next episode of Quick Bites, public speaking tips and techniques you can digest in 5 minutes or less. Until next time, remember, when it comes to speaking in public, you've got this.